Hey Flosstubers, it's me, I'm back. It's been a while since my last Flosstube. It's been a really busy few weeks. It might even been a month since my last Flosstube. I should have looked, but I haven't, so sorry about that. Um, yeah, so I think I mentioned in the last video, I'm taking a couple classes this semester. They're both very time involved, I guess, and taking a lot of hours each week to just keep up and get assignments done and study for exams and all that good stuff. But it's getting there, and I'm basically halfway through the semester. Come on, May! That's where I'm at right now. I'm just trying to get through till May. But I wanted to give you a quick update on what I've been stitching on, what I'm like so excited about stitching on, and I have like one finish, which is not that great, but it's better than zero finishes, right? Well, I have one fully finished. I have a couple more finishes, but I have one fully finished. So we'll start with that. You can see it behind me. That is the March calendar crate with Stitching with the Housewives. And I have the cute little, the bloom. And my frame was a little different than what the design was to fit in. So I just added a little bit of rickrack over here, and it is magnetic. So I can pop this off, and it's got a, don't look at the back there. Oh my goodness, there's so much glue, and that is a hot mess. But see, it doesn't matter. No one knows, but well, everyone now, but it's okay. So there's a magnet here, washer here, pop it on there, hang it up there. Woohoo! So that's the small, and then the big one. Spring tulip bulbs. Again, that's the March calendar crate with Stitching with the Housewives. And I used 14 count chalkboard by Wichelt, Aida cloth to stitch on, and their anchor flosses. If you're interested in the anchor flosses, check out my Instagram feed, and I have all of those listed in a post there that you can get the colors and know exactly what I used. And I will probably list it below too, just for help, just for being helpful. So yeah, that's what that is, and it's just this is just the pink fabric is fabric I found at Joann's. The yellow gingham ribbon I had in my stash. I don't even know how old it is. I don't know where it came from. I have no information on it. But that's where it's at. And it's mounted on sticky board. This is on one piece of sticky board. I think I cut it at 7.5 inches. And then this is cut, the big one is cut at 9 inches because I wanted a little more of a border around it for the board. And again, washers on the back, magnets on the board. So this just pops on. The pretty spring tulips that you can kind of see. Woohoo, see tulips. Those came from Michael's. They had them on an end cap for like $1.50 a bunch or something. And I was like, yes, I want those. And then I switched out my wreath from what I had before because I was not happy with it at all. And I actually got that at Michael's as well. And it was like 60% off a couple weeks ago, so it ended up being like $4, which is much better than the $12 to $20 ones that I was looking at online. That's just too much money for a 6-inch wreath. Maybe I'm cheap, I don't know, but that's where I was at with it, and I was very happy with this, and it's exactly what I wanted. The only thing that I would like to add is like a little bow or a flower or something to clip in on the wreath. And honestly, what I might do is just pluck off a couple tulips, or one or three. I'm better with odd numbers than even. So I might pluck off a couple of those and then use some of the binder clips, binding clips, not binder, binding clips, to just clip it on to the wreath. I use those a lot in quilting. That's what they're designed for. When you're putting your binding around the edges of your quilt, you can just put them on there. But they're like these they're like, the brand name, I guess, is Wonder Clips. I don't get the brand name. I get the cheap knockoff ones on Amazon because, again, they're cheaper. But then I'll just use this and I'll just clippy and it'll be happy. So there's that. That's my one and only fully finished. Let's see. In other news, still loving my planner. Planned out March. I'll go through the list of what I'm going to do in March a little later. My birthday was this past weekend. My husband, I'm going to try to insert a picture right here. My husband got me a cake for my birthday that was just phenomenal. It was ridiculously adorable. Ended up, I knew the lady that made it, and she is super talented. And so I'll try to figure out how to share a picture of the cake and insert it in the video here so you can see it. It is amazing. So we had friends over on Saturday night. We played Mexican train dominoes, which was super fun. We had cake and ice cream, which was also super fun. I went to Barnett, Missouri earlier in the day on Saturday, and I got myself a birthday gift. I picked up a 1947 Singer Featherweight. Isn't she like the cutest little thing ever? She's got the decorative faceplate. So cute. She works and runs like a champ. I've been having lots of fun with that. And so on my way back from getting, and I haven't named her. If you have a name suggestion, and so you should know this in advance. We're actually going to paint her metallic teal. So keep that in mind too. But if you have a name suggestion, comment below and let me know what kind of a name I should come up with for my cute little featherweight. She's 1947. I was born in 1977, so I turned 45 this year, and my little son was turned 75 this year, which I just think is super cool. I'm not sure. I like numbers and things like that. So anyway, I've been having fun with her, and in fact, let me see. I'm gonna try not to like mess this up totally, but I'd like to swing it around because I sewed up that cute little panel quilt right there, which that kit my husband gave me for my birthday. And I sewed that panel quilt up with the Singer Featherweight. So that is the first project that I've completed with the Singer Featherweight. And it's so fun. So fun. I had been trying to figure out a way to tell my husband, like, explain, like, why the featherweights are so cool to me. And then it just hit me the other day that we had been talking about different things, and I was like, honestly, for me, sewing on the featherweight is the equivalent of him driving one of our classic cars. It's just nostalgic, and I feel like there's like so much I feel like more in tune with the machine, and it's just so simple, and there's no frills, there's nothing fancy, it gets the job done, and it's awesome, and I love it. So super excited to add the little Singer Featherweight to my collection, I guess, of sewing machines, especially since I dropped my Juki off on Friday to have just routine maintenance and cleaning on all of that. So I wasn't really sure how I was going to survive for 3 weeks without my machine, although I do have I have a Brother machine that I've been using for some sewing. And it's great, and I love the machine. It's really nice. And it's doing everything I need to, but I do still miss my Juki. But anyway, back to stitching. I just had to throw that in, and because I'm so excited about it, and it's so much fun, and I can't wait to do more things on the featherweight. Okay, so I've been trying to get a couple Santas a month done, and I may actually revise that now because I've started another project, which I'll show you in a minute. I do have, I think this is 2019. The 2019 Santa is done, and this is with the Called For DMC on 14 count dirty linen. I believe it's wichelt dirty linen. I got this fabric in a sale with my quilting guild, so it wasn't totally clearly marked. And I do know that these, traditionally are stitched on 18 count, but I'm doing them on 14, at least for now. I might switch and make them smaller. I don't think that that's going to bother me at all. So I do have 2, 4, 6 of those done. I haven't started any this month yet. If I do, it will be the 1988, I believe, and the 2018. I'm kind of revising that though. I'm not really sure if I'm going to try to do 2 a month while I have some other projects going on too. I might just scale that back to 1 a month. And then when a couple of my stitch alongs are over, if I don't pick up another one, then I'll go back to 2 a month. And it might, you know, I will have more stitching time too after this semester of classes is over with. So that's what I've done for the Prairie Schooler Santas. I don't remember if I showed you my progress on Flea Market Baskets, and that's a stitch along with Fat Quarter Shop. It's a Lori Holt design. The publishers, it's So Emma. I love their patterns. They're very clear. They're color charts, which I appreciate so much. I really love the color charts. I have quite a bit done on it. Basically where I'm at is I have January, February, and March according to the stitch along completed. So that means I have, let me see if I hold it up right. Yeah. I have the middle medallion, the little churn dashes, and then the inner gingham border is done. And I'm doing this on a hand-dyed 14 count Aida cloth with the called for DMC. So that's what that looks like. And I apologize for the wrinkliness. It just, that's how it is sometimes. So we'll roll this back up because I might start the next part. April for this stitch along is 3 of the top baskets. So I might start that this month. We'll see how it goes because I do have another project that I started that I'm super excited about. My other stitch along that I'm doing just kind of on my own is the Prim Stitch series. It's also Lori Holt by So Emma. I am working on the 3rd, I believe. Yeah, the 3rd one. And I actually have quite a bit done on this. I should finish this up real quick. I should finish that up this week. I have that much done. So that's quite a bit. I mean, I only have the basket, the rest of the flowers, and those 2 blocks. So I'm probably about, I don't know, what do you think? Is that like 2/3 of the way done, probably? That's what I'm going to say. About 2/3 of the way done with that. So that will be, that is definitely on my list to finish this month because I'm trying to do 1 of those a month. And I do want to get that done. I'm excited about getting that completed and then framed and hung up. The next one I'm doing is the Heartfelt Stitch Along with Fat Quarter Shop. It looks like that. My printer isn't that great, so, but that's what it looks like. I have switched out pretty much all of the colors. I'm using Anchor Floss, and I'm using Evening Rose 14 count Aida by Wichelt. I have the border and the first release, which is the March release, which is the first section there. I have it completed. So you can see that my colors are definitely different than theirs. Since my cloth is pink, I went with purples and teals because that will match in my craft space. So it'll be hung in my crafting room when I'm done with it. So that's my heartfelt progress. And then this was my new one. I decided that I was going to jump on board with everybody else in the cross stitch community and do a birthday start. So I am doing the Little House Needleworks ABC sampler. And there are 9 of them in the series. I have all 9 patterns. I worked on this one. I believe it took me about 10 or 11 hours to do that. Now, so here's what I'm doing. It's a birthday start, so start a new pattern and a new thing, right? I haven't started the second one, but that's probably what I'll be working on after I get Prim done. And I am stitching it, hold on to your hat. I did a color conversion, sort of. I picked my own colors. I did for anchor floss instead of the DMC or the color works that they each call for. And I'm stitching it on a 28 count Irish linen. It's my first linen stitch. It's my first time working with linen, my first experience with just not being able to count as well as I used to. So it's been fun, but I really enjoyed it. And I love the way it looks. I might become a linen junkie. I don't know. We'll see where I'm at when I get the 9 done. So it will basically be 3 by 3, you know, when it's done. And yeah, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And it's not perfect. I'm actually like half a square off a couple places with my stitching, and I had to adjust a couple things because I counted wrong. And I decided that I was just going to leave it because this is my first linen stitch. I am learning on how to count linen. I got some advice from a friend that I've known for several years now. That she saw I posted on Facebook that I had this linen finish, and I was like, oh my gosh, counting on linen is just difficult for me. I haven't figured out a way to do this well. And she suggested taking a different color of floss or even sewing thread and running a line. And so you would know, like, you know, you kind of like set up a grid system on it, which, you know, if you've stitched on linen, you probably are like, yeah, that's what you do. But I don't know. I was just like, okay, my husband got me some linen. I'm going to do a birthday start. So that's what I'm doing. So let's pull some colors. And I did get a hoop because I read that hoops are important with linen. So I couldn't imagine stitching in hand with it. I probably would be in tears. But so it's been fun, and it's been something new and a little bit of a challenge, but not like terribly horrible. So that's fun. That's kind of what I'm stitching on, where I'm at. I know that Lori Holt has another stitch card set out. Those I think are shipping sometime in March. So when those come in, I'll put those into my list to be stitching. On my stitching calendar for this month, let's see, I have down the 1987. Oh, maybe it's 1987 Prairie Santa. I thought it was 88. Have I not done the 87 one already? Let's look back. Oh yeah, no, I haven't. Yeah, so the 1987 Prairie Schooler Santa, and I'm looking at my awesome binder here, or my planner rather. The Fat Quarter Sharp Heartfelt, which is done. The ABC Start, which is done. The ABC of the ABC Sampler. Yeah, the first of 9. And then I want to finish up the Prim, the third one, and then possibly the 2018 Prairie Schooler Santa. I want to do another one of the linen stitches, so I want to do the DE for it, and maybe the flea market baskets. I have big plans, but what I guess I should say what I have planned to do is the Prairie Schooler Santa 1987. What I have left planned. The Prim number 3 of 12, which is partially started. Oh, and then the Stitching with the Housewives April calendar crate, which is, I think it has carrots. Oh yeah, it has carrots, and I have everything pulled for it. I did an anchor floss conversion again, not really conversion. I pulled anchor flosses for it. I'm doing it on 14 count chalkboard black. that PDF releases in their Etsy shop on the 15th, so I'll purchase it and then start stitching it on the 15th or the 16th. And that way I can be done by April. Yay! And so that will be up on my lovely board instead of the March one then. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm still enjoying all the stitching that I'm doing. I love the quilts that I'm working on. As far as quilts, I guess, you know, I have the She Who Sews that I stitched on the Featherweight. So I have that one going. I'm doing the flea market baskets quilt along with the cross stitch that I showed you. So I have that going. And then I also am doing the Lori Holt chicken salad quilt. And I have 4 of those chickens done, so I'm current on that one. I'm actually making that one for a friend, so I'm super excited about that. I think that's all the quilts I have going. Just the flea market baskets and the chickens. I don't think there's anything else. No. I have some scraps that I want to do something with those scraps. I keep thinking that I'm going to cut them down and put them in my scrap piles, or I need to like make some improv blocks real quick or something with them. I'm not really sure what I'm doing with them, but I'm getting a pile, so I need to devote some time and just cut those and stack them and do something with them and get them out of the box because I want my box freed up. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Oh, I do have here, since I mentioned quilting and the chickens, I have some of the chicken blocks here. I can show those. Let's see. That's Hattie. Oh, those feet. And it makes me laugh because the last 2 or 3 weeks, Lori Holt on her blog has mentioned, your chicken feet don't need to be perfect. That's why they're chicken feet, blah, 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 you know. And I think that she's hearing that from a lot of people, that the feet are just intense. I mean, I think my feet look fine. I have feet issues. I think my feet look fine, but they're fiddly. I mean, they're like super fiddly. And here's Percy. And I pulled from my stash. So these are not any of her, none of these are her fabrics. And here's Cornelius. I pulled from my stash, and I had worked ahead. I was a couple blocks ahead, and then now I'm just like on track, and that's fine. So yeah, the other, which I'll try to insert a picture for this too. The other thing I did since the last Flosstube was I went to the local quilting guild that I'm a member of. I went to their retreat weekend, and I sewed for like 26 hours that weekend. It was ridiculous, but I had an extremely good start, but not finished. I could not believe I didn't have it finished. I seriously went thinking I would have this project finished, and it was not. So I had cut and kitted up all of the blocks for Autumn Love by Lori Holt. I think it was like 2018 that she released that design. It's with her So Simple Shapes, and I'll list those below. I used all stash fabric because you can't really find the Autumn Love fabrics anymore, and I just wanted it to kind of match my decor anyway, so I just pulled from my own stash and kitted everything up. So I had everything cut, everything kitted, took that with me, and I sewed. I got there on Saturday about noon. I started sewing about 12:30. I sewed until 6, stopped for dinner. I would say maybe an hour for dinner, went back, sewed until 11 o'clock that night, went to the room, which was right down the hall from the banquet room we had our retreat in, which was amazing, so convenient, so awesome. Didn't have to drive anywhere. I mean, I parked my car Saturday when I got there, and I didn't get in it again until Monday when I left. So went to the room, kind of tried to unwind, watched Stitching with the Housewives video, and then 5 o'clock I was like wide awake again. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So I kind of piddled around the room for a little bit, took a shower, got dressed. 6:15, I was like, I'm just gonna go down there and see if the doors are open. And they were, and I was not the first one there. There was another lady in there already, but I was the second one in there that Sunday morning. So Sunday I sewed from 6:15 until 10, I think. And we had brunch, so we had like an hour break there. Came back, sewed until 6 p.m. Had about an hour break for dinner. Went back and sewed until midnight. So basically I sewed from 6 o'clock in the morning till midnight with maybe a 2-hour break. It was so fun. And so then I was like, oh, surely I'll be asleep and I'll sleep Sunday night, right? So I went to the room, wound down, and then I did. I slept until 8 o'clock, and I got up and I was like, oh my gosh, it's 8 o'clock. I'm so late. And so went down to the, got dressed, all that stuff, you know, went down to the retreat room, sewed until 9:30 for brunch. We had like a kind of a program Monday morning for kind of we had Secret Sisters, and so we did a wrap up with that. I got some really cute things for my Secret Sister. She was amazing. My Secret Sister loved her stuff, which was super cool, super cool. And then so we did a wrap up. We came back and I sewed, and I sewed until probably about noon, and then I could just tell like everything I touched was just like not working, and I was like, this is I could have stayed till like 3, but I decided at like noon just to start packing up and to come on back home. So I did. I packed everything up, got back home, got my things unloaded and everything. And so anyway, the Autumn Love quilt, oh my gosh, I thought I would have it done. I mean, that's a lot of sewing hours, right? No, I did not have it done. I still had the huge center block of the house to do, and I had the bottom block that there's like 2 crows and vines and a basket. I'll insert a picture so you can see it, but there are 62 pieces in that bottom block, applique pieces, and like 42 of those are leaves. So they're like these little leaves that you have to sew and then turn and press and glue and applique, and it was a lot. Could not believe it. But so I was telling my husband, I was like, by the time that, okay, so the top is done now, and I adjusted the outer border. I basically left off the outer border because it was too big for the space that I want to hang it. I want to hang it in my living room. So I left off the outer border, and by the time I will have it quilted and then binding and then the buttons I want to put on it, I will easily have 60 hours in that quilt. I can't believe it. And this isn't the first applique quilt I've done, but it's definitely the first one that I've sat down and done like so much at a time that I'd never really thought about how much time these take. I definitely know it now, and I love the quilt, and I don't regret doing it at all, but it really did open my eyes and make me realize how much time is invested in something like that. So it just gives me a new appreciation. Even though I'm the one that made it, it gives me a new appreciation for the art and the time and the dedication that goes into a project like that. And I feel the same way with my cross stitch. When I'm looking at things that I'm just like, wow, there's so much work in that. I think since I've been doing it more, I appreciate it even more, because I realize how much time goes in to even small designs. I mean, there's, even like the little stitch cards take around 2 hours to do those for me, like 1.5 to 2 hours, depending. It's a lot of time that someone spends, doing this. And so if someone gives you something that they have made, just know that they obviously care about you, or they feel that you're a special person, because it's a lot. It's a time commitment that they have given you a piece of themselves and a piece of their time, and thought enough of you to welcome you into that circle of having something handmade from them. So anyway, that's kind of my soapbox. I hope you have had a great early spring, I guess, late winter so far, and I hope everything's turning out the way you want it to. and I hope your stitching is going well and your threads aren't tangled. So have a great rest of your week, and happy stitching. See ya.